I am the disabled guy with the disabled life.
Got
The
bid,
podcast is going to be
Do a
about
little bit of editing at the end
disabled
there.
issues
dude. Okay.
and other things that interest me and others from the disabled community. I did this so that people understand what we go through in life and what we do, because a lot of what we do, it is interesting. I'm also going to talk a little bit about ADA and things of that nature. It's something that's very important to me and something that I learned a lot about when I did an episode. I'm going to talk more about it. Okay. This podcast, it's going to come out at 10 p.m. Saturday and Wednesday. So
How'd you
that's
hear?
when that's
Did
that's
you
when
hear
I think
okay?
most people listen at night or have the episodes there for during
Do I
the
need to turn my?
for the daytime.
Do I need
so,
to put headphones on so there's no feedback? Or?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Let me stop this. Stop. Okay. As you heard that one, did you hear that audio?
Yeah.
Okay. Some people don't hear it. I don't understand why. So how you doing?
Not too bad. How
Yeah.
about yourself?
All right. Today was one of these crazy days where the technology didn't want to cooperate.
I understood that.
You know how when you go in there and you connect something and it doesn't work and it doesn't want to, and just it won't take it for some reason?
Yep.
That's exactly what was happening to me.
I had an issue with my microphone yesterday. I was trying. Do you ever use OBS?
No, I don't.
OBS is where you can record the screen or yourself or whatever,
Yeah.
but it would not use my microphone.
Ugh.
It was using the audio from the camera.
Right. No. So
I don't know what it was. I still haven't figured it out.
yeah, it's one of those where it annoys me. If I'm, as you can see, I'm looking to the side because I have my microphones on my side here.
Uh-huh.
So let's go for this. What brought you over to my podcast? What you decided to bring over to me?
The reason that I came to your podcast
Yeah.
was because I had saw you in one of the podcast groups that I'm in,
Right.
and I loved what you were doing.
Right. No, it's it started as I'm saying this for my listeners because this is recorded now. I started it during COVID while I was bored, nothing to do.
Yeah.
As a brain injury survivor, how does that affect your life?
Oh goodness! Like today, it's raining where I'm at,
Hmm.
and my head just pounds when it rains.
Oh no, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, my daily life is a headache. Every day I wake up, the headache still
God.
remains. So when it rains, it's like my migraine has a migraine.
So how do you cope with that?
I just push on. That's the best you can do.
Right? No.
You know, I attribute it to, like, you know, say if someone cuts your arm off, you know, you can either figure out how to cope with it, or you just let everyone take care of you. And I just want to do the best job that I can.
As a matter of fact, today I have a cold
Oh gosh.
and my head's in a cloud. But you see where I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I need to do. So, what? How does your day to day go?
Well, I don't know if you've ever heard of this. Have you ever heard of the spoon theory?
Spoon theory? No, that's interesting to me.
Okay. We
Excuse
did a
me,
video
sorry.
on this back, I think, in February.
Oh.
Basically, someone had developed this theory
Hmm.
about how much energy it takes to do a certain task.
Right.
So with a brain injury, you don't have the capability of waking up with a full charge like a battery.
Oh no.
So you wake up every day with a half a charge.
Oh,
well, by
no.
the time you get halfway through the day, you're already depleted.
Mm-hmm.
So the spoon theory is, like, say you're going to wash dishes.
Mm-hmm.
That would take one spoon. And
Right.
it's based on, I think you start the day off with like 5 spoons or something like
Right.
that. I forget the total.
Right.
But so I've already used 1 spoon just doing the dishes. Well, then I've got however many spoons left. Well, then say driving to work, that's a spoon. Mopping the floor, that's For me, that'd be like 3 spoons.
Right.
So you can see that it doesn't take very many tasks to be completely depleted of all of your energy. So you have to budget your spoons, so to speak, so that you can have the energy to make it through the day.
Right. Let me ask you this question. I know the answer, but let me ask it for my listeners. Do you drive to work?
Actually, I work from home.
Okay.
So that is a plus for me.
Yeah. That I knew that answer, but I just wanted to throw it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you work from home. So, how is it to work at a computer all day long when you're at that problem?
Oh goodness, it is so. It's very taxing on your cognitive skills.
Yeah.
Usually by about 2 hours
Yeah.
in, you're already going, oh gosh, can I make it through the next 6 hours?
Right.
So with me, my company works with us to give us what they call a wellness break.
Mm-hmm.
So all day long, I get a break every 2 hours
Wow.
to get away from the screens.
Right. Yeah, like today, like today, I have nothing. Like today, only have you to do. But on Monday, I accidentally committed to I'm gonna do it anyway. I accidentally committed to a Zoom call, not a Zoom call, a Zoom call, and before that, I committed to a space, a Twitter space.
Oh,
With our admin, so I have to deal with that. I'm gonna do that for her. But it's gonna put me in front of a screen or in front of a phone an hour before I wanted to.
oh goodness, yeah.
It's gonna put me to a phone before I wanted to. So you see what happened? I forgot to. It's part of life. I forgot that I forgot that I commit to that testing every second Monday of the month.
Yeah.
I said yes, and I'm like, crap. Oh no, I did that. Right?
Are you like me? Do you live by a calendar?
I have to. Because
I do that too, but sometimes I forget to update it.
So let me ask you this question: how does this affect your wife, or how does it affect your wife?
Oh, she's the best. She is my caregiver,
Mm-hmm.
and she helps me. She has identified whenever
Mm-hmm.
I'm overloaded. Like say if we go out into big crowds, I can't handle that.
Right.
So if there's a function we're going to go to and she knows there's going to be a lot of people there, she'll say, "Now, Rob, I don't know if this is going to be the right thing for you to go to." And I take her at her word. She knows me very well,
Right.
what I can handle and what I can't handle.
Right. No.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of these things where I have to. I live at home, so I live with family. I don't deal with that. But for example, now, I don't know if you see my shot. I had my mom come in here and make my bed for me.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I did that in my shot. You know, those are little things that I do. I mean,
Yeah.
little things that I ask people for help with. Like for example, with me, do you prepare your own meals? Can you do that, or is that something you don't want to do?
I did. Well, I did today actually. It was spaghetti, but it was
I
something
can't.
simple.
You know,
Yeah.
I can't. My mom used to work at Winn-Dixie.
Hmm.
I can do a microwave really easily. She would leave me the food in a bowl, and I would grab the bowl with the towels, throw it in the microwave, and eat right in
Oh.
that kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things that you have to work around and you figure out how to do things.
Yeah.
The
You
first
do.
time,
You have to.
yeah, the first time, just to let you know, the first time I over dried my food.
Oh no.
Yeah, it happened. Yeah, no, that's what I'm asking you because I have my limitations, but I work around them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so how much of a job do you do? How much work do you do in one day?
I do work an 8-hour job,
Mm,
and then as soon as I get done with my job, I have to go take a nap.
right.
Sometimes it's an hour.
Mm.
It's been a very trying day. It might be 2 or 3 hours.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't go through that, but I do volunteer at the Red Cross, which I like. I'm gonna I have to take some classes. I just haven't done it because I thought I was gonna have you traveling for a longer period.
Yeah.
And then I got sick with the COVID the second time. So between all of that, I've been wanting to do this for a year. But between all of that stuff going on in my life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just hasn't worked out.
Gotcha.
Because it's not that I don't want to do it, it's just that I can't, it's just that no, because I didn't want to train and have to leave for 6 months, a year.
Well, yeah. Exactly.
I didn't want to do that. Even though it's remote work, but still, so we have to look at that when we're disabled.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to look at those things. How do you feel? Do people look at you any differently when they know you're disabled? Because you don't look disabled to me.
Right. And we did this very good podcast on what not to say to a brain injury survivor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I highly recommend it. It's been our most popular podcast to date.
Mm-hmm.
And just like you said, you look fine, and that's the misnomers because people see you, and if they see me early in the day, you can't tell that there's anything wrong with me at all. But now by this evening, I'll have a stutter, and that's another good thing. My wife will notice that when I'm done, she'll say, "Okay, Rob, you're slurring your speech. You need to go recharge."
Right, no.
And that's my cue to go lay down and take a nap.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Okay, me, for example, I'm in a wheelchair. I walk around my house with a walker. So you're going to see that I'm disabled.
Yeah.
But there's times, because I do amateur radio exams.
Yeah.
And there's times that I want to hide that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people will take advantage of that.
Yeah. I can see that.
I'll give you the example. I speak Spanish. And then I'm telling you this to lead you to a question.
Okay.
I speak Spanish. So a guy in Spanish saw their kid and said, "You have the answers in front of you." I said, "I can't help you." He failed.
Yeah.
So how do you do it when people want to take advantage of you?
Oh gosh, that's the thing with me. I don't know that I'm being taken advantage of sometimes. My ability to pick up on sarcasm, for example.
Yeah.
I take people at their word.
Yeah.
And I can give you a great example of this.
Yeah.
One day I was in the yard cutting some branches,
Uh-huh.
and somebody drove up and they said, "Hey, whenever you get done, come to my house and do mine."
Right.
And I said, "Okay." I said, "I'll come over," and then they left.
Uh-huh.
So then my wife came outside and said, "Who were you talking to?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, "I'm just sitting here cutting the leaves." I said, or cutting the branches off the trees. And I said, and this guy asked me to come to his house and do it.
No.
And I said, "But then he left before he gave me his address."
Yeah.
She goes, "Rob, he was being sarcastic."
Yeah. No.
So
Yeah.
things like that I pick up on.
Let me ask you, how? I know this answer. How did you? What happened to you to cause a brain injury?
Yeah, so we have a koi pond.
Okay.
And I go out on my breaks every afternoon and I feed the fish. Well, I also have a very high allergic reaction to bees.
Bees,
Well, on July 2/1,
Right.
4 years ago,
Right.
I was
Just before
feeding my
COVID.
fish. Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, it was right at the height of COVID.
Oh.
I mean, COVID had just, gosh, it was maybe 2 months in, something like that. Was
Right.
it like around March, 3 months in? So I fed the fish like I always do, and as I was coming in the door, a bee flew by my head.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I panicked, and I ducked as I was opening the door, and I
Ooh.
hit my head with the door. And I had a 3-inch laceration on my head, and I didn't know at the time that I'd done that.
Oh no.
You know, I blacked out. I went unconscious for, I don't know, it felt like an eternity, but it's probably like a minute or so.
Right.
But when I came to, I was holding my head and it was really throbbing. I thought, man, tomorrow it's going to have a goose egg on it.
Right.
So then I took my hand away and it was covered in blood.
Oh
I
my
was
God.
like, oh no, this is not good. Well, this shows you, I don't know if you are a follower of Christ or not, but I am.
Yeah.
And and this shows you how God makes everything come together.
Right. Huh.
My wife had been at her job for, gosh, 6 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And she had lost her job. The company just closed up.
Oh no, because of COVID.
No, it happened right at the very height of COVID. They had a name change. Someone had bought the company, and they had just put a sign on the building that Monday.
Right.
And then by Friday, they said, we're shut the doors. And that's a bunch of legal issues we can't go into. But
Yeah.
the short version is
Right.
the seller of the company did not disclose some stuff to the buyer
Oh no.
that he should have.
Oops.
And once it came to light, he said, I can't take this risk, and he closed the company.
Oh.
So because of that, my wife was home.
She lost her job. Am I right?
She lost her job. So she happened to be home, and I walk over to the window, and I'm waving at her. Well, she thought, oh, he wants me to come see something funny the fish are doing. Because I'm typical of that. If the fish are doing something crazy, I'll say, hey, come here, look at this.
Right.
So she was coming outside to expect to see me to point something out funny the fish were doing, and she sees the patio covered in blood, me covered in blood.
Oh no.
And she says, what did you do? And I could, at that time, I couldn't get words out. I was just going, B, 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 B. And she thought, well, did he get stung by a bee? And then she goes, no, bee's not going to produce this much blood. She
Oh, man.
said, he done something.
Oh
So
no. I'm
I
sorry.
finally was able to get out what had
Yeah.
happened.
Uh huh.
And she got me to the hospital lickety split.
Yeah. No. It's. Yeah. Something happened to me. I was home, and that's what. And I don't know if you can see it. I have a handrail on the back of on the back wall of my bed.
Yeah, I see that.
I have that because I fell down, and
Oh.
that's an easy way to get up. I get myself to my
Good
room
idea.
here, and I just get on the bed and pull myself up, and I do a sit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's one thing I do. So what started your podcast?
Well, it's kind of funny. Because of my brain injury,
Right.
I don't get a lot of sleep
Mm-hmm.
because of my headaches. And
Yeah.
I lay in bed at night and I was trying to find content of people who had brain injuries,
Right.
who were talking about their symptoms,
Right.
and also talking to others who are going through it as well.
Right.
And all I could find was professionals saying, this is what a brain injury
Yeah.
is. And I'm thinking, now why should I listen to you? You don't even have a brain injury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was complaining to my counselor about it.
Mhm.
And she says, well, Rob, why don't you do it? And I said, I am not a podcaster.
You
And
said
I
that?
You know what? Yeah. I said, I don't know how to do that. So I didn't know how to upload a video to YouTube. So I had to go Google how do you upload videos to YouTube.
So this is just
So-
this here is just an audio podcast that I'm doing here
Yeah.
because it's just
We have
easier.
branched out.
It's easier
Yeah.
to deal with,
Yeah, it is.
and it's more economical.
I'll show you something that I got right before we started. And
Right.
I thought this was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
This was, as of today, how many
Oh my
views
god!
that's how many views
Yeah,
our channel has.
I've actually seen some of your podcasts.
Oh, have you?
Yes, I have. Yeah. So what happened to me is as you hear in my intro, I do my podcast because I feel a lot of disabled people don't have a voice.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean by that?
I exactly know what you mean by
Yeah.
that.
Have you ever had a problem with people underestimating you or believing that you can't do something or can't even speak?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I've had that.
Because I had an incident that I've spoken a few times on, but I'll tell you about it so you know. I was in a mall with my mom, so she went to buy some shoes. So I stayed outside, and this teenager and this little girl, because I know it wasn't mom, it was like younger teenager and a little girl, like 2 years old, 4. She came over and started touching my wheelchair. Just
Wow.
curiosity, you know what I mean? Little
Yeah.
kid curiosity. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me anything, right? So all of a sudden, she's touching us I'm talking to the little girl, like like you do, and
Yeah.
she came up and she took the little girl away. I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, why did you just do that?" I told her. I asked her a question. She's like, "Oh, because some of you think I think a lot of you people get freaked out and yell at people, get mad." I'm like, okay. So I said, "Excuse me, I've been disabled since all my life. You follow what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know any different. You might be dealing with people that have injuries that were not born like this."
Yeah.
So what I did is I found out where they were going. I didn't want to drink anything. I went to where they were. I bought myself a soda and I sat next to them. And I talked to them for an hour.
Wow.
My mom came and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I just put my hand up like, let me handle this."
Good for you.
Yeah, and it's like, and the mom goes, you're not a person that gets mad." I go, no, we all don't. All you have to do is ask questions. Ask
Yes.
us, and we'll do this. And it's like, it's because to me, it's the child doesn't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The child
How are you
doesn't
going to
know.
learn if you don't ask questions?
No, and how this poor child doesn't know why this girl just yanked her away from something.
Mm-hmm.
Really, they shouldn't touch things, but kids don't know.
Right. And think of the message that sent the child as well.
Let me ask you this question: have you traveled out of the country?
No.
Hmm. Oh, that's that's an interesting one. To do that as a disabled person. Yeah, it
It
is.
can't be easy.
What?
It can't be easy.
No, it is not easy. It is difficult.
I can imagine.
Okay, let me say. You know what an aisle chair is, or you never know?
A what?
Okay, you know what? I mean, I'm going to tell you. You may tell me no. You know what an aisle chair is?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
You know what a hand truck is?
Yes.
Okay. Imagine a hand truck with a backrest and a seat belt, and a shoulder harness and a seat belt.
Okay.
That's what a hand truck is. That's what an
Right.
aisle seat is. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So they put us in this thing, and we get taken like a piece of a package. You know how they
Like a
lift
piece
it?
of luggage, yeah.
You know how they lift a hand truck and they put it in and they just push it where they want?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they do. And that's why they put the shoulder harness on us and the seatbelt, right? And
Wow.
then we transfer to a seat. That's that. So I'm like, I hate that because that's annoying. It's really, to me, it's humiliating to deal with this.
Yeah, that puts a big red flag on you.
Right? No. And I'm like, okay. So they do this. And cause it's some, so just so you know, this is what I deal with so you understand it. Some countries don't have aisle chairs. So planes sometimes carry them. I went to Costa Rica with my dad one day. The flight crew was returning to Miami. So, because they were like in a rush. But I know that sometimes they don't have it. So I said to him, I told the lead flight attendant that knows about the plane, I said, you have an aisle chair? He goes, yes. I said, okay, bring it out to me. I'll transfer myself in and you can push me out. And they looked at me like, oh, okay. So I got myself out, and I'm going to tell you the story. And the guy that was supposed to pick me up from the plane was just going through security in the opposite way.
Goodness.
I got myself off that plane. with their help.
Well, that's awesome.
But there's a drawback to that. I didn't have any help when it comes to our baggage.
Oh no.
My dad and I had to do it ourselves.
So was your dad able to carry everything, or how did that
No,
work?
what happened was he hadn't gone to Costa Rica in years. So he said, I can't do anything. I don't know what I'm doing. I said, okay, let me handle it. Right? So I started talking to people. I started to figure it out. We got ourselves in an elevator, right?
Yeah.
And the first thing I did, I saw the door opens up and I see a guy with a mop, the janitor.
Yeah.
And I said to him in Spanish, excuse me, where's the baggage claim? And he looks at me like, whoa, this guy speaks Spanish. He told me where it was, and I went there and somebody helped us from that point.
Awesome.
But I was like, I'm not going to wait for these people because they take forever to come back out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They take a long time, and I'm like, no. So I've had that issue. So you travel in the U.S. or you haven't air traveled?
I've never flown on a plane at all.
Oh my God! Talk to me. So do you still drive or you can't? Or you don't drive anymore?
I drive, but I don't drive very far. I try to limit it to 2 to 3 miles, and that's about my.
No, I try not to.
That's about my.
I don't drive at all.
longevity.
Physically, I can physically drive with hand controls, but I haven't. Where they overcorrected my left eye,
Oh yeah.
so I can't drive because of that. But physically, I can drive
Yeah.
because I took driver's ed. Physically, that's why I say physically I can drive. But that limits me what I can do, what I can and cannot do.
Right.
Because I have to get somebody to go somewhere or drop me off somewhere or get STS, which is horrible.
And then the waiting for people. That's the big drawback.
No, and what gets me,
Is your people very dependable? Or are they on time? late?
it depends. I'll say it. It depends. Okay, I'll give you the example how I work it. When I normally work from home, but sometimes I like to go out because I don't see people for months. Sometimes I'll tell you that honestly, or I go to the doctor and I get sick of it.
Yeah.
So when my buddy's on call, when my buddy's not on call, he works at a hospital that I do the exams with.
Mm-hmm.
I will take myself with STS, paratransit over there, and he'll drive me back home.
Yeah.
Because there's a problem. I'll tell you the problem. Because I can't, once I start that test, I can't leave till it finishes.
How long does that test normally take?
An hour to 2 hours. That's
God.
That's for people. That's for the people to finish it. And then we have other things that we have to do as administrators.
So it's not like a time test. It's whenever the last person's done. That's when.
Yeah, within reason. We're not going to sit there for 6 hours because somebody can't get the test.
Gotcha.
Within reason. So what I'm saying is, what used to happen to me when I used to come back home with them with STS, I would be rushing around. You know what I mean when I say what I mean by rushing?
Yeah.
We're done. I signed the last performance, and I go, guys are not good. I would run out. Somebody would push me out the building like a bat out of hell. So no. So I decided I can't do that anymore.
Oh, I don't blame you.
It was too much stress. So I said, no, I'm not doing this. So I told him. So what happened during COVID is we started doing a Zoom meeting, and we do online testing. A hybrid of online testing. You know what that means?
I think so. Where you do some of it online and some of it in person.
No. The way it works is the people are on site with one examiner maybe. And,
Okay. Yeah.
And the rest of us are home sitting here in this format,
Gotcha.
watching the camera like I'm watching you right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to watch to make sure we all have to watch to make sure that they don't do anything weird. You see?
Oh, like Googling the answers.
Yeah, we make sure that we have to watch it. If we don't like it, we stop it. So as a matter of fact, so I sit here and but I prefer to do it in person.
I can see why.
Because I'm still responsible for the room, but I don't like it when I'm not in the room.
Yeah, you can't see what's going on sometimes.
Yeah, or sometimes you got to tell people to move.
You gotta hope that someone's not giving them answers off camera.
No, let's say I can't. Let me give you an example. I can't fully see your door, right? If that was an exam, I would tell somebody, move. I need you to move because I need to see that door. I have to, those are things that when you're in the room you don't have to worry about.
Right.
Right. Or somebody sit right in front of the camera, right in front of the computer. Oh, that irks me
Or their
because
phone.
what?
Or have their cell phone.
That irks me because they see a computer open and what do? Sit next to it. What does that mean?
They're gonna be cheating.
No. So I told him no. So, but it's interesting because it's worked out. But I personally don't like it. I prefer to go out in the field.
Yeah.
I prefer to work the field.
That I could see why that would be necessary with what you're doing.
Yeah, because you're federally. I'm federally responsible for an exam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you caught people cheating?
I have. I'll tell you the story on it. I was in person that we weren't before. This was before paper, before testing. It was all on paper, before online. I'm watching and don't forget that I'm lower by nature. I'm lower than a regular person,
Yeah.
so I can see your knee when most people can't see that knee.
Yeah.
You follow me? And I'm watching this girl. Her knee keeps moving. Her knee keeps moving, right? I'm like, what is going on? So I look, and you know what she does? She uses the old high school trick. Takes her shoe off and starts paging a book
Oh my goodness.
with her toes.
Oh my goodness.
The high schoolers do that.
Really?
The high schoolers would do that when I was in school. They would do that. That's why I called it the high school trick.
Wow. I never saw anybody do that at our school.
So I immediately stopped the test, and I brought through my guys over by doing this, and they know that if we do that, they come over because we got something they don't like, or I got something I got something I don't like. Sorry, that's the way it is. I got something I don't like, so they come over to me and I said, I'm stopping that test because she's cheating, and I goes, how? I'm like, she has a book underneath. And he goes,
Wow.
He looks, he goes, yeah, there's a book. So we stopped the test. I immediately pulled it and said, done. But they go, this is on you.
So, when you stop the test, is that stopped for everybody? Or just for that?
No, it stops that person.
Okay, good.
The analogy, do you watch football?
No, actually, I don't.
Okay, I'll give you the analogy. Okay, when the referee, when there's a penalty, there's one guy that comes first after the referee.
Mm-hmm.
You know what happened? That's the guy that talks to the referee because he saw the penalty.
Oh,
The guy that throws the flag is the one that has to tell the referee what I saw.
gotcha.
And then they all confer and they see if they agree on it. So we had to do the same thing. But they said, that one's on you.
Yeah.
You called
fault.
it. You called it, so you have to. I had to sign some paperwork and deal with some of the stuff.
Now, is she able to take the test again? Or
Not with us, no. Not with us.
good? I was gonna say she should be.
No,
able to
not with us
take the
because
test again.
not with us because she wanted to, but they go, it's on you. I said, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
She shouldn't be able to take the test over.
No.
You get caught cheating, that should be it.
No, she got caught and it was. She cried, but I'm like, I can't do nothing. You screwed.
Yeah, she's the one that did it.
Yeah, you screwed me. You got me. You made me do my job.
You're right.
I don't want to do my job.
All you have to do is study.
The only part of my job that I want to do is sign that paperwork when you pass,
Yeah.
or tell you failed honestly. You follow
I'm
me?
trying to remember what people did at our school that they would cheat. I think the only thing that I ever saw anybody cheating at our school was where they would hold up the paper in front of them like they were trying to look closer at the paper, like they couldn't read it.
Right.
though the person behind them could see the answers.
No, yeah.
And they got busted every time.
No, yeah, but I'll tell you, it's no, and people don't understand the responsibility that it takes to do an exam like that.
Right, and plus it's not fair for the others who
No.
did the work
No,
and are doing it the honest way.
no. Let me ask you this. So how long were you in the hospital with the brain injury?
I was out that day. They took me in, and I don't know if you want to hear this part or not, but you can stop me if it's too gruesome for you.
Go ahead and do it.
But they took me back, and the first thing they wanted to do was to numb the skull, because they don't use sutures anymore. They use staples.
Or a glue.
Yeah, well, they stapled my head.
Oh.
It was a pretty deep cut.
Whoa! Oh my God! They stapled you.
Yeah. So they injected the first, I don't know what that numbing cream is that they inject in you, but they said it's going to burn and sting some.
Oh, that sounds like Novocaine.
It didn't burn and sting some. It burned and stinged a lot.
Right.
So much that my hand was on the handrail, and I thought I was going to pull the handrail off the bed. It was that painful.
Yeah.
And then she waited a few minutes, and she came in, and she goes, "Okay, we're going to start stapling it now."
Oh.
And she put that first staple in, and I felt it, and it hurt like the dickens.
But did you tell her? Did you let her know this is happening?
Oh, she could tell, because I almost pulled the rail off the bed again. And she goes, "Uh-oh, we're not numb." She goes, "We got to numb it again." And I looked at her and I said, "No, you don't." I said, "Just go ahead and staple it." She goes, "But it's going to hurt." And I said, "No, that numbing that you did to me," I said, "that felt like the fires of hell in my head, and you're not doing that again."
Right.
I said, "I don't care that it's not numb. Do what you got to do."
Finish it.
Yeah, so she had to put in 4 more, and oh my gosh, I can still feel it. That was the worst.
Tell me the story for my listeners about the first psychologist that you went to.
Oh yes, are you talking about the neurologist?
Yeah, the guy that said.
Oh yeah.
That guy that didn't want to cooperate, right?
Mm-hmm. So they go in, and I'll give you a quick backstory.
Right.
My wife, at the time, realized this is when COVID started.
Oh.
So at the time, you could not have anybody go with you. It was just you yourself.
Right. No.
So my wife says, "Okay, what we'll do is we'll go over the night before, so you know where you're going." So she drove me there and drove me back. Well, as I said, a couple of miles is about my limit.
Let me ask you a question. Couldn't you just drive in the car with you and just wait in the car?
She had to work.
Oh no!
She would have.
Oh,
she would have.
I get it. I understand it.
Yeah, because she had just started a new job, I think. A few weeks after this happened.
Oh, I got it.
So she took me, and then the day that I was to go for my appointment, I drove there, and as typical, I sometimes will forget what I'm doing. So as soon as I crossed the bridge to the other side, because it was in a different state, so I crossed the bridge, and I forgot that I was going to the neurologist, and I drove to a job that I hadn't worked at for almost 20 years.
Oh my God.
Yes. So I was way out of my way. Then when I got there, I thought, what am I doing? I don't work here. And then it clicked. I was supposed to be in downtown Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh.
And I was nowhere near that. So I had to backtrack. And I got there with like 5 minutes to spare.
Oh my God.
I have found out since that this doctor is no nonsense. If you are 1 second late for an appointment, he will cancel you.
Oh no! Why would he do this?
I know, a neurologist of all people.
Right.
So I got there, signed in, They take me back to the room. The neurologist comes in and he sits down and asks me my name. So then he said, "What is your date of birth?" And I couldn't remember.
Uh-oh.
I said, "I don't know. I can't remember." And he slammed his pen on the desk. And he looked at me and he says, "The questions are just going to get harder from here." I was almost in tears by the time I left.
I can
there.
imagine. So, how long did you stay there?
That was an hour. I had to endure this for an hour. I didn't remember my social, which I still don't to this day. My wife helps me with that. She helps with my phone number because I can't remember my phone number.
How do you manage that one?
Well, for like, I have cheats. You see these?
Oh, paper, yeah.
Index cards. I have all the answers written on index cards. So if I have to make a phone call, they'll ask me a phone number. Okay, my phone number is. You flip the. Okay, your social. Okay, social.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've come up with that. And my wife, one time I forgot I was going to a dentist.
Right, right.
And I panicked. I pulled over and I thought, where am I going?
Right, right.
And I looked at my phone on my calendar to see if everything was there, and it said I was going to a dentist appointment. I'm like, that's where I was going.
Oh
So
no.
if it hadn't been for that, I wouldn't have had a clue where I was going.
Oh no. Sorry about that.
My wife came up with a great idea. We keep sticky notes in the vehicles.
Uh,
So if I'm going somewhere, before I pull out of the garage, I can write Kroger or
right.
dentist or Staples, wherever I'm going.
Wherever you want to go.
And I put it on the steering wheel. So if I'm driving and I forget where am I going, it's right there in front of me.
Yeah.
My
One
wife is a genius.
one thing that I do have a problem with, well, I had a problem with before I got my computer, I was considered functionally illiterate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't consider myself that anymore. You understand?
Computers are really user friendly now.
You understand why I don't consider myself illiterate anymore?
Probably because how user friendly the computer is.
Yeah, and even though I can't read it the way normal people read, but what do I get?
Your computer will read it to you.
And give me the information I need.
Yeah.
You see, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'll tell you a quick story. When I was doing volunteer work.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back. When I was in high school, they wanted to put me in Goodwill Industries. Sheltered workshop working minimum wage.
Yeah.
I am a high functioning dyslexic.
Oh, wow.
So do I actually need to be in there?
No.
No, I don't. So
No.
but the story is, this girl lady wanted to put me in there. Myself and the team, we worked at a hurricane. It was a little hurricane.
Yeah.
We went in there as volunteers, no pay. Right? And the guy says, oh, she's supposed to be over you, but she's been here a week.
Oh, my goodness.
So you run it, and she's going to just follow your lead. So, because I'm like, okay. We're like, okay. That's what he says, run it. So I'm running this thing, we're running it as a team.
Yeah.
And I told the guys, since I don't drive, I'll take the night. You guys go to sleep. You guys drive, you guys go to sleep. I'll take night. Right? I took 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. The worst 12.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And don't forget that I don't do that normally.
Wow.
I sleep my nights.
Right. So you were doing third shift. You weren't even used to that.
I was already got third shift, so I'm running a third shift, and all of a sudden, people are complaining at me and saying, my phone doesn't work, right? And our EOC phones don't work, they don't work. I'm like, okay, what do I do, right? I don't know what to do. So you know what? I go to her and she go, because I don't know. So I go to the guy, I call the guy at home, and I say, hey, what do I do with this, right? He says, okay, put her on the phone, right? He gives her a code. Says, call Sprint, give them this code. Give them a priority, and you're going to get it. Because the county, our local county had Sprint phones. It's not that the phone disappears, it's that they give it the priority.
Right.
So I was so, but it was like, and she was like, I remember you. After a while, I go, where from? Oh, I'm the one that told you to go to Goodwill. I'm like, and I'm running this for you. And I said to her, I'm doing a job for you.
And you're doing it all.
I'm doing the job. I'm doing the job. I'm taking hot calls from the hospital. I'm doing it all. A hot call means when they got a problem, they can't figure it out. They call the county and say, help me. Yeah.
I'm new here.
And they didn't know they were talking to a volunteer. They didn't know. They didn't know. But I was like, okay. You know,
That's funny.
You know, no, but I'll tell you. You know, that's why I'm talking to you. I asked you about your injury, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted you to know what I went through.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because we can do more than they think we can. Have you had any experiences where people underestimate you?
Yeah, I think everybody underestimates me constantly.
How?
You know what?
Go ahead.
I think people see me they put me on a pedestal that I do not belong on.
Let me ask you this. How did were you doing the same job now as before your injury?
Yes, I was. I've been doing what I'm doing now I'll be there in December, will be 18 years.
Wow, 18 years.
Yeah. So if I have to learn something brand new, it is not going to work out for me.
Let me ask you.
Had to have other trainings since my injury, and I can't do them.
So what did they do about it? How did they work it?
I'm just doing my current work.
So how supportive are they?
My current boss is very supportive, so I have that working in my favor. Now, if she ever left the company or left the team, who knows what's going to happen. So
Yeah.
I'm just grateful and thankful for what I can do at the moment.
No, yeah, it is. I always say this. There's always someone worse off than you.
Yeah. And I do want to tell you something. I don't know if I had told you this the last time we had spoken.
No, when you say that, I don't think so.
Okay, but since I've talked to you, I am being published. I wrote a book.
Oh.
I submitted the manuscript, and it's actually being published.
Nice.
I think tentatively, I think it's going to be out like January, February.
Right.
But it's about my brain injury.
Mm-hmm.
But as I was writing the book, I kept
Right.
feeling inspired
Mm-hmm.
to discuss other traumas that I
Right.
have gone through in my life.
Right.
I've got a backyard full of traumas.
Uh-huh.
So it actually became a whole book. So it's not really a book that's just about brain injuries.
No.
I think any
Mm.
trauma you've
Yeah.
ever gone through in your life, it'll be something that somebody can take away something from it.
Let me ask you this question. Have you talked to your publisher about doing a talking book out of it?
We haven't got that far yet. I don't know if probably if I want it to be a talking book, like you mean like an ebook where I read it?
No, you don't have to read it. I'll give you there's a group, okay, but this has got to be done to the publisher. They can actually give it to the Library of Congress, and it's a library system
Yeah.
for people that can't read, like dyslexics or blind, and somebody reads it. And
Oh, I'll ask her about that.
just tell her about that, and tell her
Yeah.
if you want to do that, she can do that.
Okay.
She has to access to tell them to do that. The publisher has to do that.
Okay. I will ask her about that. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Right now, yeah, it's obscure, but they can do it.
Yeah.
They have to get in touch with the Library of Congress, and then the Library of Congress will give it to a prisoner or somebody that reads it.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. I did not know
Yeah,
that.
that's how they get them. It's called
Cool.
it's called the Talking Book Program.
The talking book program. Okay, I'll say something to her about that.
Right? You know, I know this is one of the topic, but you mentioned it, and I go, that's something that. Because a lot of people don't have like me. I don't have access to the written word.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Do
why
you use programs like Speechify?
I could do that. I'm looking into that.
I like Speechify, but you have to pay for it. That's my own
Right. But
qualm about
the
that
thing,
program.
the thing I don't like about, just so you know, the thing I don't like about the library, the talking book program, is they overwhelm you with books.
Oh yeah.
They send you too many books, or here's another thing, or you can put them on your computer, but then your computer gets full of that stuff.
Oh yeah. Your email gets bombarded.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that, so I try not to do. I don't. I suspended my subscription to them.
So how much does the subscription cost?
Nothing. It costs nothing. I just had to tell them to stop.
So you can do a subscription. They'll just send you free books that they'll read to you.
Yeah, but they start bombarding you with stuff.
Oh wow.
So so I'm like, do I know? Nah, you know. So
Yeah, I got enough emails coming through now. As it is.
let me ask you this question: what do you do for fun?
Right now, for fun, I'm really just doing the podcast for fun.
Mm.
I don't look at it as a job. I look at it as kind of a ministry because I know
Sometimes.
when I was laying in bed at night lonely,
Mm.
I wish that I could find what I'm doing. So whenever I'm doing my podcast, I think of other people that were the same ships that I'm in.
Right, no, sometimes. But sometimes I'll tell you, sometimes it feels like a job.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I first started, excuse me, I started with my podcast. What did I start with? I keep looking at the clock because I don't want to keep you over.
Yeah, I got about 2 minutes.
Right now, yeah, I'll let you go, and I'll tell you the story, and I'll close off real quick. So what happened to me is now that I'm doing a lot of promotion,
Uh huh.
now it's turned into a job.
Yeah.
It has.
Yeah. I can see that.
When you do before you go, when you do an episode, please put it on what is this? God, I forget the name. Murray Humphrey's group. I know you're involved there because I sent you that.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
Uh huh.
Yeah.
I'll have to go put them. I don't know if I put one on there or not. I'll have to see if I have.
Yeah. You can. Just before you go, what you need to do is you interact with somebody,
Uh-huh.
talk to them, and then she'll approve you. One of our admins will approve you. That's the way it works.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna throw my outro in so you can go.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to my episodes. My episodes will come out Monday and Wednesday. You can listen to me on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and many others, including iHeartRadio. The reason I've done this podcast is to give people a voice. Because I think that the disabled community is missing a voice. But I am in a unique position of being able to afford minimal equipment to do this. I'm going to give you my email address. If you want to contact me, is ke4key@gmail.com. And I will also, you can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, at The Disabled Guy, and a few other places where I put my episodes out on Facebook too. With that, thank you for listening.